Okay, now we're going to talk about a more involved transfer. So rather than simply getting the patient up into standing, we're going to do what's called a stand pivot. Again, we'll just demonstrate with standby assist or contact guard assist rather, where we're actually holding on to the gait belt just in case. And the same principles that we discussed in the most basic transfer, sit to stand, still apply. So the patient will have the gait belt on, of course, for you to hold on to. You'll have the patient's feet on the floor and the footrests off. An additional component that you need to plan for with this is that you want to reduce the distance between the wheelchair surface and the surface that you're moving the patient to, in this case the low mat. You want to reduce that to as short a distance as possible. So in order to do that, you're going to park the wheelchair close to the mat, actually touching if you can, and at an angle, a 90-degree angle or so, in order that the patient need only turn a maximum of 90 degrees. So as the patient arrives in the gym, you will park the chair accordingly. Sometimes this does pose a problem with locking the brakes, depending on how long the lever is for the brake. In this case, we have plenty of room to have it locked and still have the chair close to the mat. Another consideration is reducing all of the hurdles, and that's not a pun, but all of the hurdles between the wheelchair and the mat. So in this case, we can actually remove the armrest on the side to which the patient is leading. And we're going to again use the principle of leading with the stronger or uninvolved side so that the patient has maximal ability to pivot as safely as possible before they actually get onto the mat. So we have all of our safety considerations accounted for. One other consideration is that we do want the wheels in their safety position so that the wheelchair has as stable a base as possible. So you see, by turning the wheels, you have maximum distance for maximal stability of the wheelchair. So at this point, we would follow the same principles, have the patient scoop forward, have the patient push with one hand on the remaining armrest, and reach with the other hand towards the surface they're moving to, and they would pop up into stand. You would guard closely, holding onto the gait belt. You'll have small steps so that you pivot your feet. As the patient arrives facing away from the mat, you want to instruct them to be sure to feel the mat behind their knees. At that point, they know that it's safe to reach back with their hands and slowly lower into sitting on the mat surface.